In an earlier lesson, we were talking about pass-by value parameters, and we demonstrated the swap function to show an example of pass-by value. So let me put that function back up here again. So we create a temporary variable, assign val1 its value, then assign val2's value to val1, and then assign val2's value to temp. Now, let's create a couple of variables. And let's display their values originally. Now let's call the swap function with number 1 and number 2, like so. Then let's write out their values again. Alright, let's compile and run this program. And you'll see that the values did not change. That's because the parameters are passed by value. We can change that by turning these pass by value parameters into what are called reference parameters. And to do that, we're going to use the address of operator, or the reference operator if you want to call it that, the ampersand, and place it in front of the variable name. You can either put it right next to the data type or right next to the variable. Either way works. What this does is this tells the compiler that the two parameters here, val1 and val2, are now reference parameters. And rather than pass their values by value, or pass the parameters by value, we're going to pass them by reference, which means we're going to pass the memory address where the variable's value is stored, or the parameter's value is stored, which means that rather than working with copies of values, the function is actually working with memory addresses themselves. Let's demonstrate that by running the program again. And now you see very clearly that number 1 was 1 and number 2 was 2. And then after we swapped, number 1 is 2 and number 1 is 1. So all we had to do for that is to turn these pass by value parameters into reference parameters by adding the ampersand to the parameter list. We'll look more at the reference operator or the address of operator when we talk about pointers, but for now understand that when you need to pass a parameter by reference, use that operator so that you don't get the default pass by value behavior.